Oh my God. No, he was not. I'm sure. Because he
Okay, yep. I'd call the meeting to order. And I'd ask the secretary to call the roll.
Ragonetti,
Here.
Garrett,
Here.
Mannix,
Here.
Kelly,
Here.
Russell,
Here.
Kumar. We have a quorum, Mr. Mannix.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion that we approve the agenda as presented. Have a motion. Heidi Kelly, I would have a second on that. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next order of business would be the minutes, which were distributed by mail. I would ask for a motion that the minutes be approved. Thank you, Brenda. We have a motion. Do I have a second on that? Thank you. Good, Karen. Discussion? Lacking discussion, all those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. This is the time in our meeting where we open the meeting for public comment. And so we would ask at this time if anyone wishes to address the council. Lacking that, we move on. The next item would be our president's report. John?
Thank you, Marty. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank Gloria for suggesting that we hold this meeting here. She brought this up last spring. And that's a terrific idea. We ought to get down here more often. So thank you, Gloria. And thank you to Steve and Michelle and their staff and faculty for making the arrangements and providing us with lunch as well. I hope that that President Duffy, Chris Duffy, gets a chance to stick her head in here. I know she's got new staff orientation today and she's busy, but I saw her earlier in the week and she hoped that she could stop by and say hello. My first item of business is to let you know, it's not a happy one, which is that a long-standing member of this council, Bernard Abel, maybe passed away recently. He served in his early 90s, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. And he served on this council from 1975 to 1987. And he was the older brother of Arnie Abel, who was chair of this council up until the time he did that in 2011. Arnie was a member of this council through both Republican and Democratic administrations in Albany, 1989 to 2011. Okay, and I don't think that we've had a meeting of the council since we've had 2 additions to the senior leadership team at the college. So let me introduce our Vice President for Administration, Josie La Rochelle. I think this is your first council meeting. She began on July the 1st, and she joins us from San Jose State. So she traveled 3,000 miles to get to this room today.
It was 3,500.
3,000. We're happy to have her. She's rolled up her sleeves. She Geez, it's never a dull day, and no 2 days are alike, and every day Josie's discovered something to do about the job. Some of them actually good. So, and Mike Morgan, whom you all will remember as Dean of Education, Health, and Human Services, longstanding, very successful dean, is now our interim academic provost and academic vice president. He doesn't need to introduce to you as a person, but certainly as a. Okay, and I'm happy to say that both Josie and Mike have been going out proactively and holding meetings with the various campus constituencies. You may be saying about that. Faculty, staff, to let them know what our situation is financially and what our plans are for consolidating the campus, putting it back on a solid financial footing and a vision for moving forward. We're all energized and happy about that. Things are really good. And the fall semester is off to a good start. Enrollments are up slightly. Census is now this week. And we're up about 180 to 200 students over fall 2016. Overall, that is since 2010, we're still down around 10%. But enrollments from last year to this year are up, and we're all hoping that's not a blip or an outlier, but perhaps the first step in an upward trend. As I said, 180, 280, it's not enough to balance our budget. So it makes us all feel considerably better. We look very hard. The new chancellor, Christina Johnson, who began in the first week of September as chancellor at State University of Florida, had a chance to meet her in person on Monday at a reception at her house in Albany and spent the whole day with her, along with the other presidents, and soon at a president's meeting in Albany. She'll be on our campus next Wednesday. We will have her for 4 hours from 10 to 2, and she's given us an indication of the kinds of things she'd like to do in those 4 hours, and we're arranging her schedule, Tuesday and others, as we speak. I'm glad that we're on the first campus that she will get a chance to visit. She's coming to Plattsburgh because she was invited to participate in a public ribbon cutting ceremony at the Clinton Community College building that's housing their Institute for Advanced Manufacturing. So she'll be here for that on Thursday, but she'll spend Wednesday for several hours with us, which is good. I would also let you know and invite you, if you're able, to attend a ribbon cutting ceremony of our own on Saturday in Sibley Hall at 1 o'clock. That's tomorrow at 1 o'clock. The back of Sibley, the Center for Neurobehavioral Health. What you will remember we have done with considerable assistance from Senator Betty Little. She got us $5 million, and then another $2 or $3 million added to that. We were able to refurbish what was a gymnasium in Sibley Hall and turned it into the Center for Neurobehavioral Health, in which we co-located 3 clinics that are overseen by faculty members in the psychology department. Alzheimer's, traumatic brain injury, and autism. And the third age day centers back and other things. It's a wonderful service that the college provides for the North Country, for the community, Clinton County, and also a terrific opportunity for our psychology students to get supervised hands-on experience working with the clients and patients in these 3 clinics. So we wanted to do this for years. Betty Little was able to get us, I'm supposed to say your earmark. And we finally did get it built. So if you're around at 1 o'clock tomorrow, come by for a ribbon cutting building. Refreshments. This is family weekend on the main campus as well. So if you do come by tomorrow, you may see parents wandering around. We like to have it a few weeks after school starts, so parents, their students can settle in and have their parents join them for a couple of days of activities. That's this weekend. And the last thing I want to mention, Marty, it's all right, is that I will have the great pleasure in the first week in October of going to Washington, D.C. to a luncheon at the National Press Club, where I will be presented an award from an organization called the Washington Center for Internships and Academic Seminars, an award called Higher Education Civil Engagement Award. It's being presented to us because Julia Devine, who's the director of the Center for Civic Engagement at Plattsburgh, wrote a proposal, and the program that she featured in this proposal is our Shine On program. I don't know if you're familiar with that. We've been doing it for several years now. It really is the brainchild of Colleen Lemsa, a faculty member in the Public Relations Department, who has done this as a real labor of love over and beyond her responsibilities to the college. And what she does is for a couple of days on the weekend in the spring, bring, how many, Chief?
About 200.
About 200 local elementary school girls to the campus. They bring sleeping bags, they sleep on the gym floor. She gets several dozen of her students and other students from the campus here to work with these girls, well, to give them encouragement and all sorts of things, from don't believe advertising directed at women, or don't take it seriously if you don't look like this person. Sort of self-help, self-esteem, all that. What's some of the other?
Character strengths and resilience.
There you go.
We're going to be I'm working with her in the spring. We're going to do a program. We don't know if it'll be overnight at first, but down here at the branch as part of the common problem pedagogy.
Yeah, okay, good. Colleen's amazing, actually, and she'll be there with a couple of students when I accept this award on behalf of the college. I feel like an imposter. Like I'm actually getting a free lunch at the National Press Club on the strength of work with lots of other people this time, which is good. Colleen is amazing, and I'm very pleased to accept this award and recognition. Everything I've heard from parents who've had girls in this program over the last 4 or 5 years has been extraordinary. They line up to get back. So, anybody have any questions for me? Anything else, staff, that I should mention? Vice Presidents? None? Okay, thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is the chairperson's report. I don't really have a specific report to get into today. I'm going to defer what would be part of our report to the next item, which is a student association report, and the person who will be preparing that report will be Miranda Kumar, who is our student association president. But before I ask Miranda to begin to speak to that, there is a resolution that we have been asked as the CollegeCouncil to support. It's a resolution in support of the maintenance of effort legislation. And I will read that resolution. Whereas Senate Bill 1596 and Assembly Bill 8934A amends the education law to clarify the maintenance of effort provisions enacted as part of New York SUNY 2020 legislation pursuant to Chapter 260 of the laws of 2011 to ensure that all costs associated with all operations of the state university, including the University Health Science Centers, are funded by state tax dollars in the annual budget submission to the government. And whereas this maintenance of effort is essential to the ability of the state university to apply the additional tuition revenue garnered through the first predictable tuition rate plan in New York to qualify improvements in their academic mission. However, portions of the tuition revenue have had to be applied to ongoing operational costs because of the state's failure to fund operation of the state university. Excuse me. Whereas the Student Assembly of the State University of New York recently passed a resolution, see attachment, calling on Governor Cuomo to sign the maintenance of effort legislation that was passed by both houses of the New York State Legislature. Now be it resolved that the College Council of State University College in Plattsburgh fully supports SUNSA's resolution and calls on Governor Cuomo to sign the legislation and fully commit the state of New York to fulfill its obligation to support the State University of New York. And be it further resolved that copies of the resolution be forwarded to Governor Andrew Cuomo. And then we will have a vote and attach our copies of the legislation itself that were passed by members of the executive committee and endorsed by Corinda, etc. So I'm going to at this time ask Corinda if she would be kind enough.
Mr. Chairman, can I have a motion?
Pardon?
Can we have a motion on that?
Excuse me. I will then, yes, excuse me, before I ask for it, I will ask for a motion that we will have a vote on that after doing that. I'll ask for a motion on this item. Sponsor, Heidi? And do I have a second on that?
I'll second Gloria.
Okay, Lori. Second, that. Okay, so we will suspend the vote. And as part of our discussion, I'll ask the resident to speak on this, please.
Basically the maintenance of effort resolution was passed by SUNY SA, which is an organization overseeing all essays of each SUNY campus. So that's 64 campuses, and we met in Albany on August 13, and we passed that resolution. The premise of it is tuition for SUNY students has increased by 30% overall, and even though it's not really evident or it's not showing as much on student bills, and they did like a research over the years that is showing, and that is a problem. So with this, it's basically asking the governor to give us money, to give each campus money and the authority to maintain the campus. We are not asking for more funding, we're asking for basic maintaining of campuses is what we're demanding for. He has not yet asked for the legislation. What happens is that he asks for the legislation and he has 10 days to decide whether what he wants to do with it. In the past, he has vetoed it, so we're asking for him to not do that and to sign it and approve it. This was drafted by Connor Wolf and unanimously supported. And there's still petitions and efforts going on by SUNY SA as we speak to get more petitions, more signatures. As of August 11th in 2017, there was about 500, 600 signatures, and Plattsburgh was one of the highest signatures over there, with about 200 signatures from Plattsburgh itself. So there is definitely that need from our students itself in Plattsburgh, but also the students in general with all SUNY campuses. So this is why we're asking him to do this, and we are continuing with our efforts with petitions and labeling and other things that is done throughout other 64 campuses, and we're trying to do.
Thank you. Yes.
This, in large part, originates in a situation that the colleges are finding disturbing. We were given several years ago a rational tuition plan that involved steps over 5 years, increases, but at the same time, up until then, the governor's office, which negotiates all salary increases for employees and bargaining units, that means everyone on our campus, but about 25 people, negotiated out of the governor's office before the current governor. His predecessors always introduced or at least signed legislation that provided money to pay for those raises. And this government doesn't do that. So we get permission to increase tuition, which the students then must pay, and we're forced to cover with internal resources the negotiated salary increases over which we have control. And as it happens, at Plattsburgh, virtually every penny, the new money from tuition students pay goes directly into salaries of people who work for us and are in those bargaining units. So when I'm asked by SUNY Central, what have you done with all this new tuition money you're getting, how many faculty members have you had? It's not one. We're putting all this money in the pocket because the governor's vetoed the legislation that we pay for. And that's a big, huge part of this maintenance of effort that we hope that we can see with his way through the signing that will also take a certain incredible stress off of our budget situation. Right now, what is it? It's usually about $1.8 million that we cannibalized from ourselves to pay these raises.
It's about $1 million a year, the 2%.
Okay.
Yeah, this year we're paying 2 years worth.
Because they
There's a
did
retroactive
retroactively.
component going backwards, so it is closer to the 1.8 this year. And increased tuition from the students, given our student headcount, is less than $1 million.
So understandably, people who sit where we do see this as unfair because it's passing on to our students who are already paying about 80 cents on every dollar we spend. Raises for employees, it just doesn't seem right. I don't sit on the second floor alone.
If I may just add to this, as Mike and I have been going around and doing presentations to the campus community about the budget situation and what we can do with it and what's the seriousness of the matter, many of our employees are asking about advocacy and what we can do. And so they're energized as well to continue the advocacy efforts that and piggyback in many respects on what Student SA has done and already led the way.
And I will also, just the last thing I'll say about this is that with the legislature and with the governor, student advocacy is by far the most effective. By far. I mean, we're self-serving. And I know it. And that's how we're perceived. But the students, it's a different matter. And the nice thing about students is they're scattered across all the legislative districts.
Yes.
Is the college allowed to advocate, like officials, administration, is that fine or does that come under some sort of?
No, we're supposed to encourage by SUNY Central to lobby with our the delegates, our assemblymen and our senators. And we certainly can mobilize alums and others to petition the governor's office. I don't know, Keith, there were probably restrictions on what we can use of state properties or and there's actually Tuesdays when the legislature is in session, we're invited to be down there, sitting in the outer offices.
Any other discussion? I'd like to add just for the point of impact as a result of the 2016 veto and insignificant support from the state of New York since 2011. Student tuition in the State University of New York increased by 30%, while the investment in the state of New York has largely remained flat. I'll make one final comment. It does not bespeak my mentality that there's some significance in my position, in your position as president of the Student Association. position that I once held. In 1963, when they first instituted tuition in the State University of New York, I led a group of 3 busloads of students from Plattsburgh to go to Albany and petition the legislature to not begin to charge tuition to state universities. We obviously were not successful with that trip, and that was the beginning of the charging of tuition. And at the same time that happened, it was not allowed to charge tuition to students who just pursue it.
Okay, so before we vote, I'd just like to introduce President Chris Duffy, who's the president of Adirondack Community College.
Hi, everyone.
And is our host today. And you've all met John Chablonsky, the academic vice president.
Thanks, guys.
Chris and John are terrific partners at SUNY Plattsburgh, and we're so happy to be here. You've got new employee orientation, so I know.
Well, we
you're
just
running-
came from there, so we're good there, and I give us a run for 2 o'clock, which is lovely.
And you'll be happy to know that we're about to vote the College Council on the resolution supporting the Student Association to urge the government to sign maintenance of effort legislation.
You're here. That's
Thank you for
great.
coming.
Sure, thank you.
Any other discussion on this resolution?
Just wanted to say, if the college is allowed to, petition and advocate for this, if there could be some sort of partnership. I know the student association meets the president's board monthly, so if there could be some sort of partnership about this, because this is one of the issues that we can work together, and I understand student association is independent. So if we can work on we have to work on other things independently because the college can't get involved in certain things. But if this is a matter that both of us can work on, then if any of you have suggestions or know of anyone who is enthused about this, let us know.
I would say, Linda, when you have your hour with Chancellor Johnson on Wednesday afternoon, bring this up. Okay?
Any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let the record show that the vote was unanimous. Thank you. Before we move into action items, I would like to ask President and John if either of them would like to say anything at this time. We had people commenting earlier.
Oh, sure.
Great.
Well, I don't have anything formal prepared, but first of all, welcome. I'm glad to see that you have your meeting here. We're a proud partner with Plattsburgh, and it's something that we think is so beneficial to our students and of course our community. I always tell the story that when I first got here, I would say probably the single thing that most people talked about in the community when I said, what are we doing well as a college, and was bringing Plattsburgh here and having that opportunity for continuing education for our students in our community. So thank you for this long-standing partnership, and I look forward to some new programs and new ideas. I do hope you have a moment before you leave to at least step into our new addition to our science building. We're in quite a bit of transformation here, as you can see, and I hope parking wasn't too much of a problem. It's far away. But we're moving on. We opened the addition, which is all of our science labs. We're currently then renovating our old science building. And then the Workforce Readiness Center that you see across the way here is on schedule, actually a little ahead of schedule, and that will be open in January. That will house our new Entrepreneur Center, our continuing education department, large flat space for events and meetings. We can divide that space into smaller spaces so we can hold up to, I think it's about 280 people, which we don't have any space like that on campus. So of course that's also an asset for you to consider, should that make sense for Plattsburgh. And then we're also renovating our student service building, Warren Hall, creating a student success center, and we're one-stop for advising services for students, as well as renovating model space for financial aid and admissions, and really hoping to improve kind of the way in which students interact with us, business kind of things. So all of this will be done next summer. We'll have really a whole new face to the college, and we're excited about that. And our big work this fall is going to be updating our strategic plan. So of course, Plattsburgh plays a role in our success as much as we hope we play a role in your success. And I certainly appreciate Deanna's support and continued partnership. We spend a lot of time together. And of course, President Etling has been just a champion for this partnership together, so we appreciate that. So that's just things. We're moving our culinary program. That's another big thing. We have read the things to follow the star. We were fortunate to receive $1 million grant from the House of Development, which will allow us to fit up and equip a new space. We currently are at 640 Bay Road, which we outgrew that space about 2 years ago. So we've been thinking about what we might be able to do, and then having the opportunity to work through Glens Falls Revitalization Initiative and the Governor's Initiative, $1 million for Glens Falls. We were able to partner with that opportunity. So although we're still working through some of the details, we hope to be downtown by spring sometime and be able to double our footprint to offer our culinary program and expand enrollment and support of really the region's largest industry, the hospitality and tourism industry. So lots of good things.
Great.
Good. Happy to answer any questions. Thanks for giving me a few minutes to say hello.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Chris and I were in Albany together earlier in the week, and we had a meeting on Monday afternoon with presidents of colleges in the North Country. We were walking out of that across the street in front of SUNY Central. Chris was on one side of me, and the new president of Clinton Community College on the other. Ran into an alum, Kim Scalzo, who runs the Open SUNY program. And so we're making introductions. I said, these two are presidents of our most important partners in feeder schools, and I never let them out of my sight.
We tried, and he wouldn't let us. Thank you.
Thank you. I think our next item, Gloria, is the introduction of our student panel.
Okay, great.
Is Mr. Mannix, I don't know if Mr. Hart or Bill Hart has anything for campus governance.
Oh, excuse me, I jumped
No
right
problem.
over that.
So we're at the fourth week of our of the semester, so we haven't been doing a lot of things, but a couple of things that are in progress. We've been talking a lot about general education. The SUNYs and Middle States both have new guidelines either coming or already out. So we've been thinking about how general education, what we want general education to be for our campus. And those conversations are ongoing. And there's a couple of policies that are going to be coming to the Senate in about a week and a half for us to kind of maintain our status as a service member opportunity college. Just trying to make sure that we support people on active duty in the service as well. And just the regular kind of continual refinement of our programs and looking at those sorts of things.
Can you explain that last?
The service member
What is meant by supporting?
I'm not sure the organization that puts it out, but there's some guidelines about how to support active duty service members. And some of them have to do with like not requiring about transferability and kind of flexibility in terms of taking credits, how many credits you need to complete at the college within a certain time frame.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two policies that are going to be coming to the Senate this October, at the October meeting to to put into place to whether or not we're going to make those changes to meet that criteria. Do you want the specifics of the policies?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
For those of you from SUNY Adirondack, Ranch campus here, Del Hart is a professor of computer science in his second year is the chairperson of our faculty senate. Computer science enrollments actually have increased by over 200 students this year. And I don't know-
Well, our applicants were, we haven't, we didn't enroll that many, but yeah, the applications were way up.
Enrollments are up.
Enrollments are up, not 200. I was worried that they would be up 200.
But you have over 200 programs.
Yeah, there's, the department supports over 200, about 250 majors or so.
And it's added cool things like robotics.
And just to brag about them a little bit, 5 years ago, they had about 100 students.
100, like 65, 80 majors. But it's, to be honest, enrollments in everywhere, in computing in general are strong. So it's not just us, but we have been doing some like the robotics and robotics. May I brag for a minute?
Sure.
Okay. So we have, we're preparing our submissions to SUNY on the robotics. And that there's very few in the nation, robotics programs at the undergraduate level. There's lots of stuff at the high school level, and there's lots of stuff at the master's level, but there's almost nothing in between. So we would be fairly unique at the bachelor's level. And then our computer security program that we started a couple of years ago is doing very well. I think we have about 50 or 60 majors in that already. And that's pretty unique within SUNY and somewhat Northeast. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another oversight on my part. I'm good on oversight. In my hurry to get the resolution taken care of, I forgot to give Rhonda an opportunity to give us her report on the student associations. Welcome back to item number 8, student association report.
Thank you. So we ended off with a good summer. We had some trips and events. We actually just went to Real Escape as well. So that was a well-received trips, and we also organized events and a lot of collaboration with orientation, rural education office, and EOP. So that was successful. A couple of things that are coming up is the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, Amos Act. So that forum, it's a panel discussion. And actually, we shouldn't use the word discussion because what is actually happening with this panel is that they're giving factual information about what is DACA, what is happening, what is going to possibly happen in the future, how the college is or is not involved. After the panel, we open the floor to questions and some sort of advocacy announcement if there are any. And we end it there. We don't want it to really be a debate on DACA. We just want it to be facts, information, and resources that are provided by the campus should be highlighted, and that would be our forum. So that's happening on Monday, 25th September at 6 p.m. in Newcomb 200. If you can come there. Apart from that, we have a referendum on the 14th of November, and what that is that gives an opportunity for students to vote yes or no for the SAT, the mandatory. Now, if they vote no, then that basically leaves us with little, funding, and that is bad. No funding is bad, as we all know. So, please, if you can advocate for that, that will be that will be really great for us. It's in November 14th is our elections. And also, if you know students that would be interested in student government and president, vice president, senator, do let them know about the opportunity that they can run and get involved in the leadership position. We are having some fundraising opportunities and collaboration with the project. Well, we are supporting and promoting Project Help. Most of it is done by themselves and they're really good about it. Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, and now Maria is a concern for many of our students more than we think actually. And I know many who have family, friends, relatives in these areas, so just keeping them in our minds and kind of supporting them as we go. We're trying to do some sort of mini fundraising activities like let's say coin drives, but we're also trying to do something big and we're working out the logistics for that. There's also the earthquake, unfortunately, in Puerto Rico and in Mexico. So all these events are being done to support and show support in any way we can. So if you have ideas, let us know. Thank you for passing the MOE legislation. Speaking of SUNY SA, they are going to meet tomorrow and they are passing another resolution that calls for the name change from Columbus Break to Indigenous Break. And that is up for vote tomorrow. And we have I have been granted access to send emails to students now. Thank you for that. And I'm sending out newsletters because students may or may not always read emails. So newsletters from the Student Association's perspective is what we're doing, and we're going to send it every second week and just give them a highlight of what's happening with us. If you have suggestions for that, or if we're doing something that relates to the Student Association, then we know.
I'm just thinking about, are you thinking proactively about a way of ensuring that you get a positive vote on the fees?
The
SATs, when that vote comes up? I mean, what would you do if they voted no? So are you thinking strategically about kind of getting students to understand the value of the say?
Yeah, there's actually a bunch of events planned. So after the DAPI forum, 2 days after that, there's an essay forum, which talks about the essay. Thank you for actually bringing this up. Then they're also doing, so since our motto is student serving students, they're actually literally taking this another level and serving students. So that was done, and also the essay blackout is something that they're planning, in which for a certain period of time in a day, in that one particular day, they stop the shuttle, they close some sort of essay services, clubs can't get procurement cards and all those things, so kind of giving them a gist of this what will happen if you don't know. There's also 3 videos that are coming up, and one is basically Meet the Essay, one is freshmen looking for things to do on the campus, and then another is a music video that we're planning to do. So these events are planned out, and clubs normally take up these 1,000 students, so we are hoping that they will help us too because they get funding through the essay. So we're hoping positive response for the referendum, to be honest, but we're actually looking to get the most votes. We're aiming for a 3,000 vote, at least half of the student going to vote for us.
What led to the referendum? Why are we having this?
It's every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
SUNY mandate.
It's a mandate.
Linda, question. How many students would you say are involved in elective office within the student association?
23. So the association, like Senate and VP, that's 23.
Our SA leadership among the state ops at least is the only one that which they're not compensated. They're all volunteers. Everywhere else they're paid. So when students vote for a mandatory student fee, they know that none of that is going back to salaries for the elected leaders. I should also point out that Brenda is one of well over 300 international students at Plattsburgh from around 60 countries. They're extraordinary students. And she's the second international student to be the SA president at Last 5 years, 6 years.
I don't know if you can pitch anything to Range campus students, but they pay the SAP for, like, for students at the main campus, but a lot of the services that they might be interested in would be your essay. I don't know if there's any, I've just seen, why do we have to pay this when we don't really get much?
They don't do the main campus.
No.
Those monies go to SUNY Adirondack, and our students have access to the
Oh, they do
different.
go to here?
Yeah.
If they are confused about it, I will tell them. Because I didn't know the video.
In fact, there is a position to have a Plattsburgh student coordinate with our student senate and our activity.
That would be great too, because I know they look for leadership opportunities, but it's hard when they that distance.
We just worked with Matt here on that.
It's awesome. Okay.
One of the other things that we pointed out, I'm sure, to the students at Plattsburgh is, if they vote no on that fee, that really wipes out student athletics.
No,
Because-
not anymore. Used to.
Used to, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Ah. Shoot. I was under the impression that they were still funded. Okay. But it's a unique program that it funds what it does fund. And as John pointed out, the students that serve as student associations, it is a tremendous amount. They receive no compensation for the amount of work that they do in administering the student association. Now, Gloria.
Now, it's like being on a talk show. This is great. Okay. First of all, again, I want to thank you all for driving down. You know, living in Glens Falls and having to make the trek up to Plattsburgh. It was nice to share the burden with you. Thank you for driving down. And I've had a great professional and personal connection with Dean Steve Dana. And we've talked a lot about the changes that we've seen here at the Queensbury campus. And of course, I do want to give credit to John, because it was your vision in 2007 that had the idea of having the campus here. And we've seen a lot of growth. So today, we thought it would be an opportunity for you to meet with some of the students that are attending. And we gave them some questions ahead of time, but I told them that you were nice and that you would be kind, but that you could ask them questions too if anything came along. I'd like to introduce you to Daniel Brown. Dan, you're in your second year here? Great, thanks for coming. And then we have Brittany Campbell. You're in your first year? Yes, and then Katie Moran, you're also in your first year. Great, great, great. The questions that we talked about was, why did you choose Plattsburgh at the Queensbury campus? What has your experience been like? What advantages do you feel our campus has provided for you? Are there services that you would like to see changed or added? And how will this experience influence your career path? And tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, and Dan?
Nice to meet you all. Thank you for having me. I'm 27 years old. I'm from Warrensburg, New York. I was a student at SUNY Adirondack, and I obtained my associates in their adventure sports leadership and management program. And I decided to continue on here in the psychology program to try to combine both degrees and do like some sort of wellness therapeutic work with at-risk youth. What was the first question?
Why did you choose Plattsburgh at the Queensbury campus?
Oh, well, I chose Plattsburgh because, for one, it's close to my home, and at this age, I didn't really think that I wanted to be living in a dorm room or a few hours from my house. I went through some tragedy when I was 18 or 19 years old. One of my brothers was killed in a snowmobile accident, so that's usually, the pivotal time where you're in in college, really, that's when they push you to go. So I was able to stay back with my family and heal that kind of those wounds. And this has allowed me to still obtain a degree and be close to home.
Great, great. And what has your experience been like?
It's been a positive one the whole time. Actually, Dr. Vanna was my neighbor growing up, so it kind of just, fell into my lap when I was here. And then I was actually not thinking about coming to college. I was like really nervous, and I came here a few days before the semester started, and I ran into Dr. Vanna, and we sat down and had a nice conversation, and that kind of solidified my thoughts that I was doing the correct thing in my life. So that's, being able to develop a personal relationship with, all of the professors here, it makes like a world of difference. You feel welcome, you feel like they care about what you're doing, you know what I mean? So the main advantage for me, I feel like, outside of being close to home, is that the classroom sizes are smaller, so you do feel more, it's more of a, like the environment is easier for you to feel like you're being successful.
Are there any services that you'd like to see added or changed? I
mean, I think if I were to be, a master's program closer to here would be nice in this degree program, but for the convenience and all the other benefits that you get here, maybe a bigger parking lot. But.
And how do you feel that this is going to influence your future career path? Where do you see yourself headed?
I feel like the branch campus has actually like altered the course of my life in a positive manner. So I'll be continuing on, to try to obtain a master's in maybe school psychology and try to be a guidance counselor, school psychologist. So it's like this has been probably the most important decision that I've ever made in my whole entire life, and it's really perpetuated me down the right road. So I'm looking forward to the block at least.
Great, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Done good, done good. Anybody have any questions to ask Dan? Okay, you can breathe now.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry.
Okay, Brittany, tell us a little bit about yourself and how your experience has been in the last few months.
Well, first of all, hello everyone. I'm really excited to be here and I'm excited to see you all. My name is Brittany Campbell, if you can read here. I grew up in Queens, New York, and graduated from Prince High School in 2015. Immediately went to SUNY Adirondack and graduated this May actually. I'm 20 years old right now, and it was important to me to pursue a bachelor's degree in business administration in my chosen field. And the reason I came to Plattsburgh specifically is honestly it boiled down to two reasons, and that was number one, convenience. I live in Corinth. This is a half-an-hour commute for me every day. You can't be getting a bachelor's degree just driving a half an hour to go get it. The second reason was affordability. I potentially could have gone to Saratoga Springs, which is also half an hour away from my house, and gone to Skidmore, but the pricing would be absolutely ridiculous, and I would be in such terrible debt. So when I came here, and especially having the honor of receiving a scholarship, thank you to the foundation for that. It really graduating debt-free with a bachelor's degree is incredibly important to me, and I was lucky enough to achieve that. The advantages at the branch campus here, I really have to reiterate my reasons for coming here, the affordability and the convenience factor. I personally, I went to Corinth, I went to a small school, so I love the atmosphere here. I have an intimate bond with my fellow classmates. I walk into a classroom, I know who I'm sitting next to, I know who my professor is. The only exception to that being in a few online classes that I have and distance learning classes. It takes a little while longer in those classes to really get that atmosphere, but it's achievable because of the small classroom environment. Being a small school, well, not necessarily a small school, but a small branch campus, I guess. It is kind of a double-edged sword, and I would say one of the disadvantages, in my opinion, lies in that there are maybe policies, because we're all one school, we're SUNY Plattsburgh, whether we're the main campus or the branch campus, but there can be policies that are made in general that I can see how it's logical for the main campus, but maybe it doesn't work quite as well logistically for the branch campus. For example, just a personal thing that happens to me. Like I said, I came from SUNY Adirondack, and I got like 75 credits there. And there's a credit cap to coming to SUNY Plattsburgh, which makes sense. You need to have a credit cap. And you say, oh, you got 119 credits somewhere else. Well, congratulations, you only need one more. It doesn't work that way. But for me, the credit cap for a lower level institution is 6 to 7 credits. And for me, I had to drop some of my credits because I was over that cap. But going forward, in order to get the 120 credit minimum, I will have to cross-register back to SUNY Adirondack. So that's kind of a thing where it makes sense anywhere else, but just specifically for this campus, some policies generally don't work as well for both of us. But like I said, the advantages here really outweigh any disadvantages. So I think for any potential changes to the campus, I would just say maybe tailoring certain things, maybe more specifically, and saying, hey, this will work really well for the main campus, but maybe not as much for the branch campus, or even vice versa. There's things that would work great here that wouldn't necessarily work well for someone on the main campus. Did I miss a question?
Just what direction do you see yourself going if you leave Plattsburgh?
Well, I have to say, SUNY Plattsburgh, I'm getting more in depth in my classes. They're not, at SUNY Adirondack, it was a great 2-year college, it is, and I love it, and I have everything positive to say about it. But now that I'm in my higher level classes, I really feel that I'm getting more exposure to more specific fields, so I can kind of test the waters before actually going out to my career and saying, okay, do I like supply chain management? Because right now I have a course specifically for that. I have a course specifically for entrepreneurship. So I can kind of test the waters before going out and getting a job and realizing 3 months later, hey, maybe I wasn't right for this.
Great, thank you. Any questions, Brittany? All right, Katie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie, and I just want to start off by saying thank you for having me. It's totally an honor to be here and participate in this meeting. So I am 22. I live in Saratoga. I graduated from ACC's nursing program just this past May, and I first heard about Plattsburgh. Actually, it's a funny story. So I had just gotten out of like a sim, which is like a lab exam where you are given a scenario and you have to, as a nurse, like figure out what you have to do. And you know, like the last thing you want to think about after you get out of a test is, what am I doing next? What school am I going to next? But I know like a lot of colleges have representatives that come to ACC, like Empire and Plattsburgh, and there's like a representative sitting outside of like a room or something, just like set up with information, basic information. And I forget her name, but she's like, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so, you know, like this is what the program for the BSN at Plattsburgh is like. Here's some pamphlets, information. So I took it. I was interested in Plattsburgh. I know a lot of people who go to Plattsburgh in the hospital. So that's how I heard about it. Like Dan and Brittany have said, like just the convenience is amazing. I have chosen to take all online classes because I am proud to announce that I have an interview at Saratoga Hospital coming up.
Yay.
So, thank you. So working full-time and going to school is so difficult. So I've heard. I've never actually done both at the same time up until this. So being able to take online classes is such a tremendous asset to this program. That's what I like the most.
Where do you see yourself headed down the line?
After I graduate from here, I would like to go to Albany College of Medicine to pursue a CRNA degree, which is a nurse anesthetist. So that's where I want to go, but you have to have ICU experience. So you have to have 2 years of that. So I'm going to be working in ICU, hopefully, fingers crossed.
So you'll continue working full-time and taking your courses?
Yeah, it's going to be a long wait.
Wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Anybody have any questions? Well, thank you very much, the three of you. Really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your thoughts and feelings and experiences with us. And we're really glad that you chose Plattsburgh here. And I think it's very clear the target population that we're aiming for here. You define it perfectly, the three of you. So no prep. All off the top. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
And now we have an opportunity to hear from Michelle Howland, who has an interesting story. She's going to give us a history of the school as well as her own story.
Thank you, everybody. Michelle Howland, assistant to the dean here at the branch campus. And I'm absolutely beaming with pride over our undergraduate students. I think they deserve another round of applause. I think I'm going to need some help with our presentation. Steve is the Zoom wizard.
So we're going to do some on the computer, right?
It is on the desktop. It should be right in open in PowerPoint.
It's open in PowerPoint. Got it. Here we go.
From the beginning.
Yep.
Give you all
Give me a
a
second.
chance.
I
Yeah.
want this.
Steve, is that showing up on?
I will make sure, here, you can use that. That's the advance.
Go through the share screen
Okay.
and Michelle. Right there.
Yep.
There's the back of my head. It's comfortable being up there too long.
Looks like it.
Yep.
So how did we get here? I was talking with Dr. Etling a little bit earlier, and we were reflecting on how far we've come from, let's see if my clicker will work here. It doesn't appear to be working with this. From the early 80s, when our teacher education department began offering 4 graduate courses, which would lead to a graduate degree in teacher education. The demand was so great. Teachers in the region needed that permanent certification. At the time, the distinction was provisional versus permanent certification. And the demand was so great, in the 90s, we moved the program here at this location. However, it was an extension site at that time. And at that time, Dr. Norman Teeter was appointed as the program coordinator. So he was the one who managed all of our graduate level courses and hiring faculty here. I need to be able to advance my slide.
Yeah, I'll advance it for you. No, I guess it doesn't like to advance. I don't know if we're sharing right now.
Oh,
the beginning.
All right.
Doesn't look like it.
No. All right, let me try this.
You go back to the
Shift the
original,
camera
just use the
screen.
camera.
Yeah.
Okay.
Point at the screen, perhaps. Something like that.
I'll take
It's
care
a
of it.
bit low. There we go. Maybe the other side. It's hard to see. How can we advance it though?
Yep. Technology's great when it
It
works.
is. It does. There we go. So we've got the 80s and 90s taken care of, which brings us into the new millennium. 2002, some things happened that kind of set the cards, made the planets align so that some greater things could happen down here in this region. One of the things was Tom Coriano, who had been a longtime faculty staff at New Plattsburgh, was working in Albany region for UUP. And he was transitioning from the executive position at UUP back to Plattsburgh. And Queensbury was a lot closer commute to his home in Clifton Park than Plattsburgh was, although he did both for a time. Also during 2002, Dr. Robert Golden was hired as our Vice President for Academic Affairs. And John gave him the responsibility of overseeing the Greenwich campus, and they both recognized what a great potential there was in this region, and they wanted to develop that potential. 2002 was also the year that I was hired, and I began working for SUNY Plattsburgh, completely new to higher ed, as a part-time clerical. I was actually, what was the title? Keyboard Specialist 1, I think, at that time. Those old titles. And compared to being a stay-at-home mom of 3 children, it was a breeze and fun and exciting, and I was learning and inspired by all of these adult students with kids at home who were continuing their education. It really inspired me. So that brings us to 2005, when our extension site was designated as an extension center. The important distinction for that is that gives us greater opportunity to offer more courses to serve a greater population of students. Okay, we began offering our psychology and criminal justice program. They were completion programs again. So our students at that time had to complete a course on our main campus, which, as you've heard our students mention, they're place-bound. They live in this region. Commuting to Plattsburgh was difficult for them. So we had 2 undergraduate faculty, our 2 graduate faculty supporting our programs. We hired full-time clerical in 2005 to replace me. I transitioned to professional staff, became assistant director, while Tom became extension center director. And during that time, SUNY Adirondack was experiencing some growing pains, and they were renovating the buildings where our programs were housed, Eisenhower Hall. So we bounced around a little bit here on campus. John remembers what it was like. We had several different office locations, and we settled on an office building across the street. Now, if you can imagine Tom and I on the weekends with our baseball cap on with some masking tape in an open office kind of concept, masking out the walls to our office and the placement of our office furniture and our reception area. And then you can begin to get an idea of what that was like. We did collect toilet paper. We did plunge toilets. We did what we needed to do at that time to make the transition as easy as it could be. Did I go one too far? Yeah, in fall 2006, we began offering the undergraduate programs in childhood education and business management. The education department had partnered with the Queensbury School District to offer field experience earlier to those student teachers or before they student taught in their final semester. It's not to take the place of student teaching, but just to give them more an enriched experiential learning experience for their degree program. And the interesting thing about this is that we have once again partnered with Queensbury School, which brought our decades-old relationship with them full circle again. In fall 2007, we achieved branch campus designation. I'm trying to speed along, so if I'm out of breath, I apologize. The significance of the branch campus designation is that we could now confer degrees. No longer did students have to commute to the main campus in Plattsburgh to complete their entire degree program. 2008, Bob Golden retired. He moved to this region. He taught classes for us, part-time, half-time in English, and he also became our Bridge Campus Dean. Tom was promoted to Associate Dean, and we had roughly 120 plus undergraduate and graduate students. 2008, we were the first SUNY Adirondack four-year partner to move back into this building, our brand new building, the Regional Higher Education Center. We launched our criminal justice program at Hudson Valley. That is an extension site, so students in those programs at program, singular, at Hudson Valley to complete one course here in Queensbury or on our main campus. Obviously, most of them choose to complete their program here. 2012, Steve was hired as our dean. There he is. We're glad to have him. And in 2014, we signed an MOU 2+2 partnership with SUNY Adirondack to enhance our partnership relationship and make that transition for students from SUNY Adirondack to SUNY Plattsburgh a lot more smooth. 2015, we began offering our RN to BS nursing program here on site. As you may know, that program is also offered online. And the kind of symbiotic relationship between the on-site program and the online program allows students like our student Marianne, to be able to take benefit of online courses when it works for her or on-site courses when it works for her as well. And that brings us to fall 2017, where we have over 300 graduate and undergraduate students. And we've seen a small increase in our enrollments. Our target for within our SAP was about 10%. And we haven't quite hit that mark yet. We're about 3 to 5% last time I think we checked with them. So just some facts, fast facts, say that fast, to wrap up. 60% of our incoming class this fall semester work 25 to 40 hours per week. Some of them actually work more than 40 hours a week. 30% are over 30 years old. That's a significant group that are non-traditional students. 60% commute 20 miles or less. And as you may imagine, and as our undergraduate students have attested to here, 86% of our incoming class cite the location, distance from home, as their primary reason for choosing SUNY Plattsburgh at Queensbury. So in conclusion, unless you all have any questions, I just want to say thank you for allowing us to be part of your afternoon. And I look forward to working with you all. Thanks.
Thanks. Anybody have any questions for Michelle? Thank you, Michelle. Thanks.
Should we start? Yep. So Dan was my neighbor. He lived in the community I lived in. It's a good neighbor. The Rounds and the Newells, they'd run across the yard with the Joneses, and it was just a really good way to grow up for the kids, and it was good for the families. This is a community. You know, what I love about this place here is it's a community. It's a community with our friends at SUNY Adirondack. It's a community with the organizations, the YMCA, the libraries, the health centers, all the different pieces that make a community vibrant. We're part of that. And we do best when we work together, and it's a really joyful place to be and work at. And we're growing, just like any healthy community does. We hire good people, too, to help with that growth. So I want to talk about a few things today with you. I want to talk about the fact that we're unique and we are growing. We are seeking new programs. We win grants. We get money, which is good. We, as part of the community, give back. We do things for the community. We hold events. We reach out, and we positively impact the bottom line. Now, just so you know, there are a couple of items that relate to this presentation. One is a nice little info card that Emma Barcher created. Some fun facts about us, the branch campus. And the other are some of the slides that I'm speaking to for your reference. I'm not going to read that to you, but there's a lot of interesting fun facts, some of which Michelle mentioned already, but you can look at those data in your leisure. Regarding grants, we've hit on a number of grants. One are the STLE, Strengthening Teacher Leader Effectiveness grants. Those are grants that basically connect us with our P12 partners. They're P20 partnerships. And those grants allow us to work with school districts and help grow teacher leadership. And we picked 4 grants, and one of the grants were really good. It was with the HSN Hamilton Fulton Montgomery Post. It was a $1 million grant, and Harry Brooks was the man that made that happen. And it brought in about 65 students through a program, a teacher leadership certificate program. It was great. We received a National Education Classroom Residency Grant in partnership with Cambridge Central School District. The grant writer, Colleen McDonald. Now, it's a good deal of money, but it also brought a lot of stress. It was a big lift. What it basically involves is a 2-year residency experience for new incoming graduate MST students. And unlike a traditional model, these students are paid a stipend of $22,000. We front load a lot of the coursework that first year during the summer before the regular P12 academic year starts. And then they're in the classroom with a master teacher who is pre-selected, and they will spend their next 2 years in that setting. It's a really novel approach to teacher preparation. And as I said, really push the system, and thank God we have some really hardworking and wonderful individuals at main campus who help make it work. Whether Denise or Todd or Denise Philo, Denise Samar, there's just been a lot of key people that have helped make this happen, Mike Morgan. And it's happening. And it's going to happen for 2 more years, and we have the eyes of New York State Ed, SUNY Central, and others looking at it going, wow, this is innovative. Right now we're working on a National Science Foundation grant with the University of Central Florida. UCF has 50,000 plus students. We're looking at a grant that would embed next generation science standards with drone technology, GIS imagery, and P12 learning. And we have buy-in from Arts and Sciences. We have support from the Education, Health, and Human Services Division, and we're really excited. And we start writing next week. I'm working with Mike Simpson on templates and whatnot. But these are good things. They're good for the institution. They're good for reputation. And whether you hit or not on a grant, as you know from writing grants, it's always good. You bring people together. You talk about ideas. You start to think, what can we do differently? So conferences, I like conferences. I've always found conferences to be a place where people come together and they share ideas and they present and they get excited and they network and they go off and they do good work. So we do a lot of conferences here. And our conferences range from as small as 60 people to as many as 160 people. I'm looking at John because John sent an email about 3 months ago saying, hey Steve, what do you think? You think SUNY Plattsburgh might want to partner and write this Student Undergraduate Research Conference 2019 proposal? That's what I know. So we checked with Mike Morgan and others, and they said, yeah, let's go for it. So that's just an example of what one of those conferences are that's coming on. But this is what we've done today. Careers Get Ready. That was Carrie's Apollo Bench. Said, you know, we have to help our educators and our students be prepared for where they're heading career-wise, college career, so that when they're in high school or perhaps junior high, they already have an inkling of what they might want to do. Because we don't want kids to wait till they're seniors in high school and start to think, well, geez, I need to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. Diversity. Diversity is a big issue at main campus. It's a big issue at the branch campus. It's a big issue nationally. We did a phenomenal diversity camp. Dr. Ken Strang led that effort. Business administration, he was the key guy. We had 140 people. We had a balloon, the fall, we had a big hot air balloon outside. It was just classic Ken. It was really good. He's a business guy, so good marketing, good branding. It was a lot of fun. Teacher Leader Project. I'm an educator. Much of my experience is in the P12 world. I know the importance of teacher leadership. Teacher leadership changes a district. It changes the community as a result. So we've done 3 teacher leader projects already. When we started the first conference, we said, you know, we don't want this to be a one and done. We want to be this thing that sustains and grows and expands. And so that's what we're doing. And we're actually planning for our next event, which will be in December. And in those events, we require a principal from the building, any group of teachers, to come together and to develop, refine, and implement a teacher leader project plan. And what does that entail? It entails collective bargaining with the unions. That entails describing what are the positions of teacher leadership, what are the responsibilities and roles. There are many facets to teacher leadership. We've done 3 of those, we're doing our 4th soon. Victims' rights. Criminal justice said, hey, how can we get involved? Let's do a conference. So Mark Collier, Craig Dutton, Terry Sapala-Penn, and others said, let's do a conference. And we did. We did a conference on victims' rights, and we had an amazing keynote speaker. It was a great, great event. It was last spring. Celebrate teacher leadership. I'm a climate guy. I used to be an oceanographer, so climate change has me concerned. So I try to educate and get people excited about finding solutions to climate change. And at the very bottom, these are the upcoming ones. We're doing a Veterans Outreach Conference in November with teacher leadership, and I told you about the search. So those are the conferences we do. And they're fun and they're good for everyone. Michelle spoke about enrollment. Vertical axis, the y-axis is numbers 0 to 400. Horizontal, fall 2012 all the way to spring 2017. Red is undergraduate, yellow is graduate, and that gray is total. You can see the numbers. We're doing pretty well overall. Graduate numbers fluctuate. They're still doing pretty well. I know the MST numbers are really good, right, Denise? Some of you have really good numbers in the pipeline with 40 some students. Yeah, awesome. So things are looking good with that. Net revenue, we make money, which is nice. We work hard and we generate revenues. And those revenues help our institution do good work. So that's also important to know as we deal with financial challenges. And we're really involved in the community. We really do a lot. My name is like Jennifer Brennan. She is so active, I can't even begin to describe all the things that go on, but a lot happens. All our faculty are deeply invested with their community. They do a lot, they make a difference. Terry Smiley, Terry runs the Principals as Instructional Leadership Seminar Series. She doesn't do it for extra pay, she does it because it matters. It matters to education, and like me, she is into education. We do a lot of the YMCA. We're good partners with the YMCA, both the Silver Bay YMCA, which is on beautiful Lake George, and also the Glenstone YMCA, which does so much for our kids. So much for the community, the after-school programs, the camps, all these different things. They are a great partner. Brian Barrett, the CEO, and Steve Ken, the 2 CEOs of Silver Bay Y and this one here, great people. We do a lot of the library. We've written a grant with the library. They hit it was a small little science grant, a little exhibition kind of grant. We go out and we do stuff for SUNY Adirondack and vice versa. I just got an email from Yvonne Goodwin. Hey Steve, do you have any good speakers for this year? We're thinking maybe Dr. Eddie Sturman might be interested. I said, definitely. So they're going to reach out to Eddie. We've got Mark Collier present. I presented. We like to share our expertise. I talked about the Silver Bay Principals Academy. One way you grow a program, one way you make a difference is you sustain an effort. And you set up a forum for people to come together, to talk, exchange ideas, to get excited about things. And Terry has been now doing the Principals Academy for 5 years. This is year 5. Doing in partnership with the WSWG BOCES. We have some people that come back each year. They're lunch to publishers or something. I don't know. They come back each year. They meet once every 6 weeks, 3 hours. They work on a problem of practice. At the very end, in a colloquium setting, they present their research. And they bring really good people in to speak. So half their 3-hour session is informational, stuff on change theory, on the latest standards, on the APPR, whatever is relevant. And the other half is around our problem of practice, which they select, which we know is good learning. So I told you about Teacher Leader Project. So a couple of new things, working with John Jablonski and Chris Duffy is a real joy. And we knew we needed to grow a couple of things, one of which was a 2+2. The 2+2 is a good start, but we want to take it to the next step so that a student applies once, not twice, not for SUNY Adirondack and then again for us. That we have a setting where records are shared more fluidly with the 2 institutions, where advisement is more focused so that retention is high, graduation is high at both institutions. So we're working on a dual agreement project. We've been met twice now. We've grouped about 22 for both this site, SUNY Adirondack, SUNY Plattsburgh, Queensbury, and main campus. We also need new programs. And we demonstrated we can generate revenues with new programs. So again, in a similar fashion to what we did with the dual agreement, Rowena, Andy, we kind of looking outside of education at other opportunities. And so the first meeting was in the winter, I think it was January, February. A bunch from main campus came down, administrators, faculty. Del, you were part of the conversation. And then we had the SUNY Adirondack folks came together and said, what can we do? Right? What could we do? What's something new we could do in this area? And then we got together again in the early summer, late spring. But we went up to main campus, because SUNY Adirondack was so excited about that conversation, said, let's go to main campus. That's good energy. Go to the main campus to do our meeting. These are the 6 topics that we're looking at. Now, those are the 6 topics that we explored, but the fact of the matter is, what do the metrics say? What does the data say? So Mark Maystream, the strategic enrollment management guy, is helping us with Catherine Kelleher and others look at the data, the metrics that ultimately decide these are the 2 programs that have the best chance of succeeding. And during these times of fiscal challenge, we wanted to make sure our decisions are well placed, well made, so that the risk is minimal. So I guess to kind of wrap things up, we appreciate the support. We appreciate the fact that you all drove down here to visit us. We appreciate the fact that John took time out of orientation with us to be here with us. That Gloria took time to organize this day and have everyone in her neck of the woods, so to speak. That our students took time on their Friday to come in and share their stories. So, any questions? I'm kind of knowing my little spiel, but I'm certainly eager to share my thoughts on any questions you have. Jennifer.
It's not a question, but can we give you accolades for just how the strategic planning efforts get organized around the branch campus? Because I see it as something that's working well for us, where because we're smaller, we do have more interdisciplinary contact at our department meetings, but we do meet monthly, and every year, so this is my 4th year, we spend a lot of time on the strategic plan, where it's done in a method where you have the larger goals that are aligned with the vision, but we're a part of that process as faculty, and we assign specific responsibilities that are achievable, hopefully if we're doing it right, and we've been really good at, I think, all being on the same page and understanding what each individual can do to help make everything work as a system, and I think that's been under your leadership. So
thank you, and Michelle. Michelle is
definitely Michelle too.
Yeah, good. Thank you for that, Jennifer. Yeah, we really try to stay focused on what we're going after, and Michelle is really taking that and moving it forward. Mike?
You had one thing about where bio fits.
Yeah, bio. So it's interesting. Like 4 years ago, we were talking, John and I, about what are some possible programs, and bio came up as a real possibility, and Andy put together a very detailed scenarios model where looking at different enrollments and cost structures and whatnot. This is what could happen given these different enrollments. And we had Neil Buckley and others come down, we did a tour of the facilities, we talked about the different equipment requirements. And I think we're in a waiting game now. Is that a fair description, John?
I think it is, but the wait may be close to over, because we just, 3 weeks ago, we just opened that new science center, and I hope that Neil and others can come back and really see it now that it's a physical place. And it seems to me that one of the questions now that we might be in a better position to answer is, do we have the right equipment? And if not, do we have a place to put the right equipment? And then it becomes, how do we get it?
Yeah, I agree with you. John?
That's, I'm glad to hear this, because Chris asked me explicitly on Monday about that program. Where are we with that program? I'm sorry, I can't answer it. And when I asked this morning, I heard that we were waiting on facilities answers down here, and it sounds like we're close to getting it.
Yeah, that new, we're now calling it Adirondack Hall, but it's basically our science center that just had the ribbon cutting is really ready now for us to take the next step.
Great, John. And I was thinking the same thing. We were walking through that building this morning on our truck. Oh my God, we got to bring the science folks down and look at this beautiful facility.
Yeah, one of the things that I'll just add to that is that when we had our meetings and we developed these plans, we were looking at blueprints. And I think that when we bring them back to show the real facilities, they're going to be enormously impressed. It's a lovely building.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, thanks, Andy.
Yeah. Any other questions?
What would it take, once that faculty in biology in Plattsburgh say, yeah, this will work, what then do you have to do? Do we have to go to SUNY Central? Do we have to go to state ed? Do we have to do any of those things?
I think so, Mike, only because it's a new program here, so we have to go through the whole, chain.
The whole rigmarole, but it's not,
We can do it.
a mission change. It's just
No. And we can, it might take a year and a half, but, let's say fall 19.
all right.
Why not?
If everybody's on board now, then you just work towards that.
Right, and I think we'll be there, per John's point, once we get to bring our bio folks down and let them see this majestic new building with the state-of-the-art facilities. Isn't that important? Okay, any other questions? All right, thanks, folks.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much. I thought this was excellent. I really feel, I feel really good about the decision to come down to campus and just listening to the interaction and discussion. We shouldn't wait 5 years to do that, because I think we really do want to see the partnership continue with the SUNY Adirondack and see how we can support the campus here, as well as just in the next 5 years and continued growth for the entire Plattsburgh College. So.
Can I chime in too? Next time you come down, that screen will be working, by the way. And then we won't have to move you folks out of your chairs, because you'll be able to see everything on that screen. As you can see, there's some work going on. This works fine.
He's good, a lot more comfortable.
Not in my presence. If she has, it's been without my knowledge.
I think we can do the rest of this agenda from where we are.
Yeah, these chairs are far more comfortable. The next order of business would be any old business to be brought before the council. All right, do we have any new business to be brought before the council? Before we adjourn, I'd like to draw your attention to the mention at the bottom of our agenda that our next meeting is scheduled for November 13th at 1 p.m. in the Hermes Conference Room in Sable Hall in SUNY Plattsburgh. Okay, and I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn. Okay, Sid, and a second. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. You're invited.
I'll send you.